Fix it in post, as they say. Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it.
Back with Kenton. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Good. How are you?
I'm good. So you're the second person I've had on for the second time.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Who's the other one?
Ronnie. Ronnie was the very first podcast that I did, Ronnie Hughes. And he's an actor and Krav Maga guy on Island, entrepreneur. And we love to talk philosophy and stuff. So he was the very first one. I've had him on twice. And now you are the second person I've had on twice.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, man. Last time I think we spent a lot of time on the central banking stuff and the Bitcoin stuff and your sort of origin stories. Coming out of Canada and what you're doing there, and then you're coming to Cayman. And, I see you at all the Bitcoin meetings. We have one tonight. Are you going?
I'm going.
Yeah, I'll see you there. I'll definitely be there. But yeah, in all of those conversations, you often talk about THORchain. And you shared a link with me, which I watched, which is you describing for 2.5 hours what THORchain is. And I have to say that, I'm a Bitcoiner, so I know that more than anything else. But I think now in second, I know more about THORchain than I know about Ethereum or any of the other, sort of crypto products and services that are out there. So I feel like I have a decent basic grasp of THORchain. But yeah, I'd love to talk to you more about that. So first of all, when did you discover THORchain?
Late 2020, like December 2020.
Okay.
So it was right when Bitcoin was breaking out.
And were you into Bitcoin at that point?
Oh yeah. I was I kind of had a foot in the Maxi camp.
Okay.
Like I was just buying Bitcoin and Ethereum, and I just kind of a lot of this stuff is garbage, and so I didn't have the time to put into it. But when Bitcoin broke out at it was like 20 grand in December 2020, and we're going into a new bull market. So then I bought a basket of DeFi, and THORchain was one of those tokens.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
So what made you decide on this basket?
It's just built my own little, mutual fund or index, right? Just,
sure.
Okay, I think everything's going up. I don't know which ones. I'll just buy a bunch and a shotgun approach.
Okay.
And, a lot of it was, back then, a lot of the DeFi was Ethereum DeFi. Like Aave and Maker and Uniswap and stuff.
Right.
I don't think, Uniswap, I don't think they had their token then yet. But, a lot of it was stuff on top of Ethereum. And so then in the first quarter of 21, that's when things really started getting crazy.
Right.
And so I'm feeling pretty smart and feeling pretty good about myself. And I said, maybe we should look a bit more into these things that I bought. And so I started doing a bit more deeper dive on them. And I started with the Ethereum ones. Because they were the more popular, right?
Right. And so are you considering Ethereum a DeFi? Or no?
No, well, Ethereum is a layer one,
a
smart contract platform.
Right.
And then there's DeFi stuff built on top of it.
Okay, good. I just wanted to be sure.
Yeah. And there's there's metaverse and NFTs and RWAs. All the stuff is built on top of THORchain. On top of Ethereum.
Right.
So I went through all these different DeFi protocols. And then THORchain was kind of on the bottom of my list. And I kind of got to it last. Which is, in a roundabout way, it's actually kind of good because then I had a better understanding of all the different DeFi protocols, how they worked. And then when I looked at THORchain, I'm like, holy smokes, this is completely different. THORchain's its own layer one. It's not built on top of Ethereum.
Right.
It's its own totally unique thing. And it's solving a totally different problem and a big problem. So all those other DeFi protocols on Ethereum, you can use Bitcoin and their tokens, but they're all wrapped tokens. It's an IOU for Bitcoin. When you buy Bitcoin, you want to buy Bitcoin. You don't want the IOU.
Right.
You don't want WBTC, right? And so it's only a necessary evil. Whereas with THORchain, when you buy Bitcoin, you're buying Bitcoin. You're getting the real thing.
Right.
And I was like, holy smokes, this is huge. And then not only the problem was solving, but just the way it was designed. I'm like, wow, this is really cool. It's really ingenious. And then I just fell down the rabbit hole.
And so let's talk about the wrapped Bitcoin compared to THORchain, because in that video you did discuss quite a bit there about the differences. Did I write it down? There was another one. Is it the Uniswap? What was that? Is that a wrap to Bitcoin as well?
Uniswap is a DEX, decentralized exchange.
Okay.
That's built on top of Ethereum.
It's built on top of Ethereum. So, but what's cool about THORchain is that it can exist without Ethereum.
That's right.
Right.
It's its own layer 1 token.
It's its own layer 1.
Yeah.
Huh. So, how does Uniswap? So Uniswap is its own exchange as well, but it's built on Ethereum.
That's right. It's a smart contract on top of Ethereum.
So how does that work? Because if it's an exchange, so basically, if I want to switch, if I want to swap Bitcoin for Ethereum, I can use Uniswap to do that.
Well, you have to swap WBTC, wrapped Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
So Bitcoin wrapped in a Ethereum smart contract.
Mm-hmm.
Then you could swap it. So let's say you have Ethereum, you go to Uniswap, you trade your Ethereum. Trade or swap is the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
You trade your Ethereum for WBTC.
Mm-hmm.
Then you'd have to take WBTC to, in this case, Bitco,
Mm-hmm.
And unwrap it for real Bitcoin
Mm.
and have that sent to your Bitcoin address.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sounds complicated.
it is.
Yeah.
And then there's fees involved in that,
Mm-hmm.
right? So with that journey I just described, imagine that like you're taking a flight and you have two connections.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm trying to describe to you is, actually, I guess that would be, let's say two connections.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to describe a flight to you with only one connection.
Right. And that's THORchain.
That's THORchain.
Right.
So you come there with Ethereum and you trade it for Bitcoin and you get real Bitcoin to your address.
Mm-hmm.
So you cut out that connection, that stop of WBTC to BTC.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do that anymore.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So for me, why I think this is huge is because when you're booking a flight,
Mm-hmm.
you always go with the least number of connections.
Right.
Especially if it's cheaper.
Mm-hmm.
You would never pay more to add a connection.
Right.
Like, does that make sense?
Right.
I mean,
Right.
maybe, unless there's maybe some weird, like you need a layover to meet a friend. Whatever,
Right.
Like, but like 99.9% of the time, you're going in as few connections as possible, as cheap as possible. And that's what THORchain enables. So that's why, yeah.
So I was watching Eric Voorhees because you mentioned him in your video. So I watched a couple of his videos where he was talking about THORchain, and in one of the videos he was saying that he was highly embarrassed that there was no decentralized exchange. 12 years after the Bitcoin experiment, there's no decentralized exchanges. He's like, that's kind of the point. That's why Bitcoin was made, was to be a decentralized asset or currency that everyone can use. So he thought that THORchain was super cool because finally it represented a decentralized exchange. And the irony being that even though Bitcoin is decentralized, you still have to get it through centralized exchanges like Coinbase or Ethereum or wherever else, right? So I think that's an interesting point because in the crypto and decentralized space, there's still a lot of centralized entities.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big time. Almost more than decentralized.
Yeah.
And so it's like for me, I kind of wonder maybe before I learned about THORchain, what I would have said to that is, look, decentralized is great, but it seems that you have to have a balance between decentralized and centralized products or services. Like it can't just all be decentralized, right? That's what I would have said.
Yeah.
But now I see THORchain, I'm like, okay, this is a decentralized exchange that can swap Bitcoin out for other coins, whatever happens to be in the THORchain liquidity pool. And I'm like, so maybe there is a world where most of what the services that are offered can be decentralized.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you think that's the case? Or is there
Yeah.
always going to be a need for centralized entities?
I don't know about need, but maybe a want. So there's a lot of stuff I want to unpack with what you just said and talk about. So Eric Voorhees started Shapeshift, which was an exchange to swap, to trade Bitcoin for all these other tokens.
Right.
But he's, big on privacy and freedom and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so basically they're just, how do I describe it? So Shapeshift was just like, when people would do a trade with them, it was like they had custody of it for like a brief moment,
Right.
and then send out the other token.
Right.
And but they weren't taking any KYC, no emails, nothing like that. It was all, as free as you could be, right? But then because there's that element of centralization, the regulators come knock and say, hey, this isn't cool. You got to start complying and following these rules and all kind of stuff. And so Shapeshift was like, all right, okay, we have to, right? There's still, as much as we believe in, have our beliefs and philosophy and stuff, we still need to navigate in the real world, right? What we can get away with in the current legal system, right? And so he caved, from a practical point of view, but he didn't.
Go ahead.
But he didn't cave from a philosophical, moral point of view.
Sure.
So like, okay, we need to solve this. This needs to be sorted out. And so he couldn't figure it out.
Right.
And nobody could. And so this gave rise to all these centralized institutions, and because there's a need, a demand to swap between all these tokens. And so we needed the centralized parties to exist to make this happen. But that hasn't stopped anybody from trying to figure it out, to find a solution. And so people came up with atomic swaps, which was you could trade Ethereum for Bitcoin without a centralized party. However, you had to find the person willing to trade at the exact same time, at the exact same price, and the exact same amount.
Like bartering.
Yeah, it's like, selling something on EK Trade or Craigslist, Kijiji, if you're Canadian. It's kind of like that. Or like imagine a dating app where you got to swipe right at the same time somebody else swipes right. Like it's so unlikely and hard, right? And then the other solution was these, like Ethereum, these smart contract platforms, had decentralized exchanges built on top of them, like Uniswap, Sushi Swap, Pancake Swap. And then that was a good solution because they could actually honestly handle their native tokens. Like any Ethereum token can trade on Uniswap.
Okay.
That's fine. But it can't do, like we were saying before, Uniswap can't do real Bitcoin. It can't do real Dogecoin or Litecoin or Bitcoin Cash. Or Cosmos or Avalanche or Solana or Tron. It can't do those. It has to wrap the tokens. And again, that wrapping is another better than nothing. We'll just try. It's something to do for now. But that quest, that search to how do we do this properly, decentralized, and THORchain figured it out, where you can actually have your real native layer 1 tokens, not wrapped, not an IOU receipt. You can trade specie, like the actual token for each one. And it took, I'm going to take a good 10, 12 years to figure it out. And for me, like when I going back to when I was going through THORchain, I'm like, this is huge. Everybody's got to know about this, right? How, if I'm the only person who knows, okay, there's something wrong, right? And it was really refreshing that someone like Eric Voorhees, who's been around forever, crypto OGs, like he gets it too. And the day THORchain went live, they Shapeshift turned off all of their KYC, all their stuff, and went to THORchain. And then now their Shapeshift is just a pure decentralized exchange interface. And so it's really good confirmation bias. Right?
Which regulators were going after Shapeshift?
Look, in the U.S. They're in the U.S.
Yeah. Was it the SEC or?
I can't say for sure. But I mean, it's not like they're arrested or anything like that.
I know.
It was just, there's starting to be questions and like, okay, you guys got to start doing things a certain way. And so, yeah, I can't remember. Maybe it was the banks, maybe kind of starting to put pressure on them. I don't know.
Right. But yeah, no, I remember Eric saying that, basically THORchain accomplished what he was trying to do with Shapeshift, right?
Yeah.
So, I think he just kind of wanted to see it happen. So when it happened, then he could kind of, I guess is he still doing Shapeshift or is he? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
He's uber rich, right? So he's got other people taking care of it.
Sure.
But that's still his baby.
Sure.
Yeah.
So who created THORchain?
JP Thor. So John Paul Thor Bergerson, or so I can't forget.
Okay.
His last name. But like on Twitter or whatever, you go look up JP Thor, you'll find him. And so he's the Satoshi of THORchain.
Okay.
And then the Hal Finney is Chad Barraford. So Chad Barraford and JP Thor are they're like the partners in it. But basically JP met Chad and brought him on, and the two of them built it out. For the first few years, it was Chad who's doing like a lot of the promotion and interviews and whatnot, and JP stayed more anonymous. But now, in the last, I guess about a year ago now, a year and a half ago, JP doxed himself. Everyone kind of knew who. If you started getting more into THORchain, you'd figure out who it was. But now he's like fully doxed and he's out there.
So why don't people know about THORchain?
Great question. Okay, good. This is one of the things I wanted to bring up. So you mentioned the need for the centralized exchanges and players. So people just got used to it. Okay, well, we need Coinbase and Binance. Then we just start using them. It's like anything else in life. Like when you get used to doing something, you're just stuck in your ways. So, everyone is used to using these centralized exchanges. And they just accepted, okay, this is a necessary evil. They're not really looking for the solution anymore, right? They've already got it. So, and I don't think like Coinbase or Binance all of a sudden is going to go to zero or be like people are still going to use them. New people to the space are going to use them. But kind of my new job I've just taken on within THORchain is like I got to try and get the word out to the masses that THORchain exists. You don't need the centralized exchanges anymore. You can do what everybody was aiming to do 10 years ago. It now exists. It's now a reality. We solved it. And so, we got to try and get that message out there that, hey, we can be cypherpunks again. We can do self-custody. We can do no KYC. We can avoid these centralized players and make crypto a cypherpunk again.
I would think that people would latch onto it because, I tried to open an account with Binance and I just gave up.
Yeah.
It's like passport this and then, it's expiring and then you need this and it's just too much. It's too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, so if THORchain eliminates that, I know that doesn't just frustrate me. It must frustrate other people, right? That's the problem with decentralized. It's just too much KYC, right?
Well, totally. But let's take it a few steps further. These exchanges get compromised, get hacked.
Right.
So your information, your KYC gets stolen. This happened to Coinbase.
So it happened to Coinbase too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what they take your email, your address, your phone number, all that kind of stuff, and then they start spamming you. And people legitimately get scammed because they get this email, they think it's from Coinbase or Binance, like, oh, hey, your account is in trouble, come do this and do that, click on the link. And, someone who isn't very sophisticated, oh, I better do this, right? And they go click away and they end up losing all their money. And then take another step further, FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried, Celsius, these other centralized exchanges, which turn out to be total frauds and scams, and people in aggregate lose billions of dollars because they have their crypto sitting on these platforms. And so, THORchain solves that, where you have self-custody, right? So unless somebody compromises you specifically, they can't take your crypto, which is you know, if you're a thief, you're going to go to where the biggest vault, right? You know, if you're going to try and steal crypto, they're not coming at me or you. They want to go to Coinbase or Binance. They're trying to steal it from there, right? So by decentralizing all of our holdings in our own self-custody wallets, we can make it much less profitable for thieves to go after and much more difficult. And us having our own self-custody seed phrases, like it's extremely difficult. You know, if you do it properly, it's darn near impossible for anybody to take them. Usually when you hear about somebody's wallet getting compromised, it's just, you end up finding out they did something stupid and it didn't follow proper hygiene. And then there's you're not sharing your personal information anywhere. So none of that can be stolen and used against you. You take a step further. I think if these guys got your address, they could just show up to your house one day, right? And come knock on your door. Hey, we know you got crypto. Come give it to us, right? So KYC, you know, we joke stands for kill your customer. And that's more and more is what I think the world is going to realize. That they think all this KYC, which means know your customer. I can't remember if we said that. No. But yeah, we all think it's necessary and helps protect us. It really puts us more at risk.
Interesting.
Yeah. And so THORchain makes it possible. You don't need to do that. And even just like, let's just say your KYC is safe. Let's say your crypto is safe on these centralized exchanges. They can still just arbitrarily close your account. They say, we don't like you anymore. You know, we view you as our internal policies. We don't, you know, where you live, your country, your last name, your citizenship. Oh, we're just turning you off, right? So they can freeze your account on you. Or they may not open the account in the first place. You go through all that headache and trouble, you bang your head against the wall, and they still won't open the account. And it's like, well, save all yourself the headache and time and frustration and risk and just have self-custody. Go to THORchain.org and go place a trade. Boom, done.
What's interesting is that in one of those interviews I was watching it with THORchain, maybe it was you brought up CZ. And CZ mentioned, everyone knows he's the CEO, managing director of Binance, but he said that he expected DEXs to actually outgrow over the long term CEXs. And Binance considered a CEX, right? Centralized exchange. And I thought that was super interesting. You know, here's CZ, who has, like you were saying, no incentive for DEXs to take off because he owns Binance. But he's, you know, admitting what he really thinks is the truth is that DEXs is the future. And that's the way that things are going to go. So it's interesting. You have the owner and founder of Binance saying, you know, DEX is actually better than what we do. That's crazy.
Well, this is the whole point of crypto. This is why Bitcoin was invented. Well, you know, everyone says blockchain this, blockchain that. Blockchain that's not the revolution here. It's decentralization. That's the revolution. And the reason decentralization is revolution is because no one can stop you, right? Like if you're going to send, if we're going to send Bitcoin to each other, no one can stop us from doing that, right? No central authority, no central planner, no regulator, agency, thief, estranged ex-wife or whatever, right? Can't stop us.
And that seems like that doesn't seem like a big deal, I think, to some people, but it's a massive deal. Right? Because you cannot send even $1,000 to somewhere in Africa right now. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. But with Bitcoin, you know that we can, and nobody can stop you. It's really simple.
I think for us in wealthier Western countries, we're a bit ignorant to the difficulties of, say, somebody living in Africa or to the global South. Right? You know, we've never been debanked. We've never been refused banking.
We've never not had access to the US dollar. You know?
Like we live in the kind of privileged bubble that maybe 500 million people have access to. And part of that privilege is how we've gained it is giving up all of our information, all our KYC, all of our autonomy, right? Our regular bank accounts, you don't really own, that's not your cash, right? The bank will decide if they want to give it to you or not, right? And so for that, by giving up all of our autonomy, all of our information into the system, we've got this great convenience Now we can move within it. We can wire transfer money to each other. We can buy stocks and we can buy bonds and we can invest and do private placements and hedge funds and all this great stuff and keep building our wealth. But it's a Faustian bargain, because for having that privilege and making that money, we've quite literally given up all of our freedom, all of our autonomy, right? We are stuck in that system because we're addicted to the wealth and the convenience. Whereas, from the Bitcoiner's point of view, the gold bug's point of view, like this, the end result of this system is collapse. It is not sustainable. This has happened time and time again throughout history, through thousands of years. These systems always implode at some point. And so it all feels good now for the last few decades, 100 years, what have you. But at some point, the chickens are going to come home to roost, right? So I forget I think we've got a bit off topic.
Well, yeah, no, I interrupted you. You were talking about the ability to exchange on THORchain and how, nobody can stop you.
Yeah, decentralization. So the beauty of decentralization is, no one can interfere and stop. And so it's basically, the way to think about it is like free speech. Right? We all understand how important free speech is. And even hate speech, the speech you hate the most is what you should protect the most, right? Because as soon as you go down that road of preventing people what they can and can't say, that's the road to tyranny, right? And when we exchange money with each other, that's a form of speech. We're communicating value. And so when the powers that be censor those transactions,
they're censoring speech.
They're censoring speech. And that's the road to tyranny. And so by keeping our ability to communicate value out of their hands and having free speech in communicating value, we create freedom for ourselves and the world. And when it comes to money, this new monetary system, this decentralized financial system, it protects us and enables us to have that free speech, that free communication of value. So the powers that be, the people with guns, they can't stop these decentralized systems. It gets to a point where it's impossible. And so Bitcoin is definitely at that point now, where I think it's pretty safe to say it's impossible for anybody to stop it. And I would argue THORchain has just crossed that threshold. And I can prove that by February. Did you hear about the hack?
I did. I was going to ask you. Okay. But I don't know much about it. I tried to find some videos, but I didn't have enough time to research.
So in February 25 this year, 2025, Bybit exchange, it was 1.5 billion worth of ETH was stolen. And apparently by North Korea, which I don't know. I don't believe it's this. The Lazarus group is apparently from North Korea, which I'm like, the most sophisticated crypto hacking group in the world is North Korean.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
You don't buy that?
No. I mean, I would think it's like the CIA or somebody or Russia. Like, I don't know. I would think if I'm that sophisticated hacker, I'm going to like purposely call myself somebody different and just have fun with it all. Like, I don't know.
Right.
But it doesn't matter. It was.
So I remember that hack, the North Korean Lazarus group.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how that was associated with THORchain.
So what the hackers did is they took that money, that ETH, and they converted from ETH to Bitcoin through THORchain.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I missed that part of it because I do remember the first thing they did, because I remember telling people, what was the first thing the hackers did when they sold it? They switched it to Bitcoin because it's safe there.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, so what they're trying to, actually, not that they did it once or twice, they did it 5 times. They went back and forth.
And what's the point of that? To just distract and hide and obfuscate?
Yeah. So they do this with all hacks throughout history, with all crypto hacks, is they just start creating all these different transactions and breaking it up into all these different pieces. And so they were doing it on the Ethereum blockchain. They're doing it on the Bitcoin blockchain. And what they try to do is break it up into millions and millions of pieces and transactions to make it harder for anybody to track.
Sure.
And so by going from using THORchain to go from Ethereum to Bitcoin is just another part of their process of breaking up all these pieces. And then basically in the hopes that the tracking platforms just lose track.
Right.
Because there's, with these chain analysis the name of an actual company, and the other companies that actually analyze the blockchain data, they have like thresholds. So they only go back like so many transactions. They only, do certain things because it's kind of like you've heard like American $100 bills, like they all have a trace of cocaine on them. But it doesn't mean I'm guilty of selling drugs. Doesn't mean you are, or you are, right? Like, but that's just how much those $100 bills have gotten around the world.
Right.
It's the same with crypto. I mean, you go back far enough, I mean, it's all tainted somehow from some stolen crypto, right? So if you go back too far, if you're too strict, then it's all illegal. Just like those $100 bills. Cocaine,
that makes sense. Okay, I never thought about that.
So and then the other thing is too, there's different. Let's leave it there. I don't think we need to keep going. But
so what happened to THORchain when Lazarus?
So when that was going on, everybody could see it because everyone's tracking it, right? Because you can track crypto; it's all on the public blockchain. And some people on the internet started criticizing THORchain. Oh, you're enabling money laundering and doing this and that, and you guys are a bunch of scammers and blah blah blah. And it's like, well, wait a second.
That's how we know we work.
Exactly. Yeah. It's not a good stress test. We don't want that, right? And we don't want to encourage that. But it is a one way to know. So there's a saying: if criminals use it, it works. Doesn't mean you want them to. And so it brings up an interesting debate and question, because the only way for the Ethereum to go to Bitcoin through THORchain, the Ethereum miners had to approve the transactions. And the Bitcoin miners had to approve them too. So it's not just, THORchain isn't by itself in this process. There's Ethereum miners and Bitcoin miners and THORchain miners. All three are processing the transactions.
I guess I didn't quite put that together, but okay.
So if you're going to say THORchain is wrong, then you have to say, well, Bitcoin and Ethereum is wrong too. Everyone's equally at fault, right? And then they'll say, okay, well, but Bitcoin is decentralized and Ethereum is decentralized, so we can't get mad at them. It's like, well, so is THORchain. It's decentralized. Now, just because the argument is, well, THORchain has much fewer nodes, much fewer people involved, and it's centralized because of this or that. And it's like, all right, well, fine. And I appreciate those arguments, but at the end of the day, if it really was centralized, there'd be people going to jail, people getting charged, people, authorities come knocking. That hasn't happened, right? And 10 years ago, the authorities were they didn't really understand crypto, whatever, but they've come a long way, right? And they understand it much better now, right? And that's why you've got law enforcement saying, like, they actually like it when thieves use Bitcoin because they can track it, right? As soon as it goes to fiat, to cash, it's gone, it's lost. So when that was going on, there was an exchange called EXCG or something like that. And they did get shut down because some of this stolen money was going to them getting converted to fiat.
Interesting.
And the authorities did go after them. And what I think some people don't know or need to appreciate is that when this is going on with THORchain, the THORchain developers were in touch with the authorities. And we're helping them track their crypto. They were in touch with Bybit, the exchange. And Bybit had a website where they're keeping a list of all the people who are cooperating and not. And it kind of like peer pressure to call people out. THORchain was not like on their red list because Bybit understands, the authorities understand, THORchain is decentralized. Just like Bitcoin and Ethereum. Like you can't, there is no single person or party to go after to stop it. And while this was, and that line of communication, the authorities, THORchain had that for over a year and a half, because the exact same thing happened a year and a half prior when a bunch of money that was stolen from FTX that was going through THORchain. And that's actually when the authorities first started to come knocking and asking the THORchain devs, hey, what's going on here? And everyone's like above board. Here you can help. We'll help you track the data. And what the authorities ultimately wanted was the front ends, the websites and the wallets, to do blocking on them, on the interfaces. Because they understood the layer one, the base layer, that's open source, that's decentralized, and they can't change that. But they can go to the wallets and the website, say, listen, you got to do, because you're centralized, you got to do what you can to put in a stop here, and have a blacklist of addresses. Don't let them use your app. And so the THORchain devs have helped create these blacklists for the authorities and for these other websites and wallets to use. So when and this has been going on, for a year and a half, and so when the Bybit thing happened, the line of communication was already open. That was already there, and so the THORchain devs were trying to help, and we have friends that are, that do blockchain analysis from a legal point of view too. And they've told me they've tracked stuff through THORchain all the time, and it's actually really good because the THORchain explorers do a really good job of showing all the data, whereas some of these like wrapped tokens and these other platforms, the trail goes cold. They don't offer any of the data, and it's really hard to track. So where I'm going with all this is these thieves trying to move money through THORchain, they're not hiding anything. They're just, okay, we can still follow them. They're just like, it's just another step in their journey. And so there's nothing's being concealed, right? And the authorities can still do their job and still track. And in February, during that time, we actually had nodes. There's a tug of war about turning off Ethereum trades and freezing the funds. But if you do that, you do it for all. So now we're having innocent trades being frozen as well. And so there's a tug of war in the nodes between freezing the Ethereum network and letting it go, and went back and forth, back and forth. And eventually it was like 40 different nodes. And it eventually got to the point where the nodes that wanted to let things go and not turn things off won. And so the network stayed on.
Which net? Are you talking about the Ethereum network?
No, sorry, THORchain.
THORchain network.
Yeah.
Okay.
So in theory, the THORchain nodes could have just like turned off the exchange and prevented the hacker from doing any more trades, right? But then when we turn it on again, they would just start doing it again, right? And then and there was questions and debates about, well, should we introduce like a blacklist and some kind of censorship into the base layer, into the actual code? And there is a huge, like a lot of people, it was a debate in THORchain. Like there was, because nobody wants to support and enable thieves, right? We agree, we're all against that. But the broader philosophy and morality behind THORchain is to be decentralized, not to do any censoring. And as soon as we go down that path, then when you go down the path of introducing censorship, you introduce a way for it to be corrupted. And really the only reason, I'd say not the only, but the main reason people are thinking about that, because like, nobody wants to go to jail, right? Nobody wants to be associated with contributing to that. And but I think there's another part too, is that I don't know that if THORchain even did try to introduce some kind of censorship, that it would work, because the entire design is meant to not steal people's crypto, right? To process a transaction. The ability to censor and stop a transaction is the ability to take it. Right. And so that might open the door for the nodes, for THORchain, people to be able to steal from its users, which open up a whole nother attack vector and the problem. So I'm on the side of no censorship, let it go. The real solution to these kind of hacks is not to react to them, it's to prevent them. The problem, I'm not victim blaming, but the problem with the Bybit hack and all these others, it just comes down to simple human error. It's like leaving your car door open, and then somebody walks in and goes and steals from it. It's like, well, it sucks, and I'm not. I did it. I've done it here in Cayman. I left my door open, and somebody walked in, took the cash in my glove box, and like, I mean, I can't go like make a big fuss, whatever. Like I just made a mistake, right? So it was. That's kind of generally what happens with a lot of these hacks. Is like somebody just makes a stupid mistake, and like we can't change the way all of society works to try and like protect every little thing, right? So the benefit of having this uncensorable. Do you notice your screen went off? Do we have to?
All right, so now we're actually recording ourselves. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
This is how we look. All right, so where were we when I realized that the camera wasn't recording?
I was talking about the Bybit hack and the authorities, the tug of war, the nodes on THORchain. Shoot, I forgot. I was in the middle of
something. So we were talking about Bybit getting hacked, and then THORchain not wanting to release information.
No, well, okay. So the THORchain devs are happy to share the information with the authorities, like the trades going through THORchain. I think where I was going was the censorship part. So the nodes, there was a bit of a tug of war on whether they should block the transactions or not. And in the end, the majority of nodes decided to let all the transactions go. And this is what I was saying. A lot of people, the way they view the world is we need to react to problems instead of preventing them. So the real solution here, when somebody's has crypto or money stolen from them, isn't so much in tracking it to get it back. It's trying to prevent it in the first place. So like the real issue that happened with Bybit and a lot of these other hacks is just human error. That like they did something silly that they got compromised, and it doesn't. I'm not victim blaming, but it's kind of like a cost of freedom, cost of like living in society. Is it like I mentioned my car? Like if you leave your car door open and somebody comes and steals from you, it's like well, it's a stupid mistake, and not honest mistake, but doesn't mean you change the whole fabric of society to protect people from when they leave their car door open. It's the same thing with our monetary system. We need to have better prevention of people being stolen from. And then if there is the unfortunate where something happens, I'm of the opinion and belief that we have to let it go, because the value of a financial system that is uncensorable is so huge and high for society that for those odd cases where something goes and we can't recover it, we got to just let it go. And we need to focus our efforts on prevention, on security, and preventing that from happening in the first place. Because if we have a financial system where things can be censored and reversed, we have the current system. This is the system we're all stuck in. And the whole point of DeFi is to build a new system, right, that is uncensorable. So it's just back to freedom of speech, right? Those little things you might feel good about censoring, that those things you don't like to hear, it's not worth it for the apparatus that's built around enforcing that.
Is this a good analogy? Like, let's say, a bank was stolen, robbed, and they stole a bunch of money. And then the money was transported on bus routes that were leaving very close to, say, where the bank is. And then afterwards, you have people coming saying, hey, these bus routes, they transferred that money.
Exactly.
We got to stop these bus routes.
Yeah, it's exactly the same.
And it's like you're saying, well, obviously not, because these bus routes serve a larger purpose. And if you do that, that's going to cause a whole heap of problems, not just protecting that bank, but now all of a sudden people can't get to work, people can't get home, et cetera, right?
It's exactly it. Same with like these thieves that eat food. They go shop at the grocery store.
Right.
Well, should we shut off all the grocery stores and
Right.
starve them?
Right.
Like, well, no, we all need to eat too.
Right.
So you're absolutely right. And this is the thing. It's like a lot of people are like, well, I don't need a financial system that's truly free. Like we have the current one, right? I'm fine. I can do my stuff. I don't have to worry about it. Well, yet, right? Like the problem with people in the West is we've been very fortunate in our lifetimes, in our parents' lifetimes, they haven't had to deal with any kind of real banking crisis or problems or being a political opponent or what have you. But I mean, you talk to anybody who grew up in communist Russia or China or, lived in the global South and experienced hyperinflations. Like, these are real lived experiences where people lost everything. Not just people, families, right? And not just ordinary, regular people. I'm talking very wealthy people too, right? I mean, especially the communist Russia. I mean, how many people lost like industries, businesses, homes, like all kinds of stuff. It was all appropriated, right?
Cuba, they say there was like 200 and something millionaires in Cuba,
yeah.
and then when Castro took over, there was one.
Yeah, it's exactly it.
Yeah.
And that's exactly it. So the whole point of a decentralized financial system is to protect people from the Fidel Castros of the world. And
So I have a question now. THORchain, you're saying it's already implemented in some wallets. I think Trust Wallet was one of them. So does that mean if I have a Trust Wallet, which I don't, so I've never actually tried this, does that mean, okay, so I have some Ethereum in my Trust Wallet. So I can go within the Trust Wallet itself and say, hey, I want to sell this Ethereum, swap it for some Bitcoin. Boom, 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 boom. And then that's kind of it.
yeah.
I don't need to download a THORchain app. I don't need to download a THORchain wallet that I use in conjunction with the Trust Wallet. It's all integrated within the Trust. Fascinating.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Yeah.
That I don't understand why people don't use that then.
Dude, man, I don't get it either. So like, Trust Wallet has, they say, over 200 million downloads. And I talked to their business development guy, and he told me that only a total of 1% of their users has ever made a trade inside the app.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And there's maybe, we can track it on THORchain, how many users come from Trust Wallet. We maybe have like 10,000 a month type thing.
Okay.
Out of 200 million. And yeah. And it just goes back to what I was saying earlier. Just nobody knows you can do it.
Right.
Right. They've had Trust Wallet now for a few years, probably, a lot of people. And they're just used to, everybody knows you can't trade Ethereum for Bitcoin in a wallet. You got to send your Ethereum to Binance,
Right.
trade it for Bitcoin,
Right.
and send the Bitcoin back to your wallet.
Right.
And again, we all get stuck in our grooves, right? We'll get used to our ways of doing things. And so people are just used to doing that. They don't, and how often you go in your app to look for the new features and functions? Like, you don't, right?
Right.
And so unless you're really thinking about it, looking for it, you don't know it exists. And a lot of people just have not, nobody's thinking about it. Nobody's trying to do it because they're just so used to doing their other way. So
And you can swap stablecoins on THORchain too?
Yeah.
Because even in our crypto group, there's just so many people who are like, yeah, he's selling 1,000 USDT, looking for some Bitcoin, or vice versa.
Well,
and it's like, well, you could just respond, you personally, and be like, hey, use Trust Wallet.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, and I do. So a lot of times when you see some people saying that in our groups, I think they're looking for Fiat. So that's the one thing THORchain can't do.
I was going to ask.
It can't do Fiat.
Right.
So you still need this. So the centralized exchanges are still a necessary evil
For Fiat.
For Fiat, and I think that'll always be the case. So,
Really?
Yeah, because with Fiat, the only way to interact with dollars with the Fiat financial system, you got to do KYC and all that kind of stuff. That's their cost of doing business, right? And so, hopefully, those that's we call them the on and off ramps, right? The on and off ramp from fiat to crypto. So those bridges, they're necessary. But I think what's going to happen is we're going to see over time. My belief is we're going to see going more and more one way. That people are leaving fiat, going to crypto, and they're not coming back. And that might sound fantastic to you, but look at the United States and the Stablecoin Genius Act. They're going to be pumping out US dollar stablecoins all throughout the world. And the reason they want to do that is because it's a way for them to sell their debt around the world. Because when people use Tether and Circle, USDT and USDC.
And they're both stable coins, right?
Those are both stable
Pegged
coins.
to the US dollar.
Yep. And they're backed by real dollars. So Tether and Circle are going out and buying US treasuries.
And then they issue stable coins against that.
Yeah. And so they collect the interest on those treasuries, and you get the stable coin backed by the dollar. So your Circle and Tether are happy because they're earning all this interest, and you're happy because you have the stable coin. You can go do stuff in crypto. Well, Tether has become like the top number 15th largest buyer of treasuries in the world. Like they're like ranked against countries,
Against the Cayman Islands.
Yeah. And so the U.S. has figured this out. Everybody knows the U.S. is in debt up to their eyeballs, right? They need to issue more debt. Who's going to buy it, right? Other central banks, they're starting to get tired. They don't want to buy the debt anymore. So the U.S. government's going to stable coins. They're gonna push stable coins throughout the whole world and get everybody to use them. And that's going to create a new demand for treasuries from the stablecoin issuers buying treasuries to back the stablecoins. And so what'll happen is, and we've already seen this. This already exists throughout the second and third world. That especially in countries where there's like rampant inflation, people want to settle in dollars. They want U.S. dollars, right? And now stablecoins is going to make it that much easier for them to get dollars and to trade and transact in dollars. And I think what we're going to see is the acceleration of other currencies collapsing into the dollar. And so these other currencies might still exist in some formal fashion, but functionally their people are going to be using dollars, using stable coins.
Right.
And so kind of like when Rome fell, it was a periphery that collapsed first into the center, and Rome actually had a boom, like a match, like a blow off top.
Is that right?
Yeah, because the periphery was collapsing, all the capital was coming to the center. And so we had a bit of a boom in Rome, and then Rome collapsed. So I think this is going to happen too with the US dollar.
Right.
The periphery is going to collapse into the dollar. So the US stock market, US bond market, everything's going to do well. Then once everything's in the dollar, then it will collapse. And meanwhile, everything's been moving to crypto. Everyone's been using stable coins.
And that's where it collapses into, right?
Yeah,
Crypto.
Yeah, and so if these stable coins collapse because what's backing them collapses, that's when Bitcoin really shines. Right.
It's just there to eat it all up.
Exactly. Yeah. And the by the US trying to get everybody onto stable coins, they're legitimizing crypto and basically teaching people, encouraging them, hey, get into crypto, start using it, get comfortable with it. Because once you have a wallet and you have a US stable coin, like on your Trust wallet, for example, that's the bigger mental leap. Once you're using the app and you've got the wallet, you've already done some transactions, stablecoins, to then go sell a stablecoin to buy Bitcoin.
Pretty easy.
That's not a very big mental leap anymore, right? So I think the U.S. pushing stablecoins in the world will normalize crypto and make it easier for people. And then going from stablecoins to Bitcoin, that's where THORchain is involved. So THORchain is going to be, I see as being a major player in making that possible. Yeah.
Let's keep talking about the stable coins here for a second. I find it interesting that the US is doing this because, like you're saying, it seems to lead to justifying the crypto industry, and it seems to lead to the eventual demise of the US dollar when you project forward. So do you think that this is what the Trump administration in the US is tacitly saying, that eventually the US dollar is going to be no more?
Well, I mean, Trump himself has actually said crypto is this new financial system. Crypto will save our financial system. Now I wonder if he's got Michael Saylor in his ear because. So one thing I think is cool what Michael Saylor says, and I actually do have to stop to think about it to appreciate, is that the U.S. dollar has huge network effects, right? It's everywhere in global trade and finance, and that's what gives Bitcoin its value is its network effects, and it's really hard to displace that, right? And so. With the network effects of the dollar, like all the accounting, everyone's books, like Cayman, the fund industry here, right? Everything's done in dollars, right? All the law firms, everyone transacts in dollars, and so to upset that infrastructure would take a lot, and so from that point of view, it might have some staying power, and in theory, if the U.S. does, start. The Bitcoin strategic reserve, at Fort Knox, everyone says the gold isn't there. What if they actually have more gold than what they proclaim? What if it's actually opposite? What if they've actually been hoarding gold? And then maybe someday they can actually, the dollar does become backed by gold and Bitcoin and whatnot, some real tangible assets, and kind of they bail themselves out. Everyone thinks Bitcoin is going to millions of dollars a coin, right? So maybe the U.S. government does start buying and mining Bitcoin to stockpile it, and that actually does kind of help save the currency. So that could happen. I'm not, I'm trying to be open-minded, right? I'm trying to be, who knows how it'll all go? Maybe this U.S. dollar network that it exists, it's kind of like oil and gas. People say, oh, it's. We get, oil is bad for, we shouldn't use combustion engines anymore, blah, blah, blah. And all right, fine. We might move to electric vehicles. But we're not getting rid of all these oil pipelines. We're still going to use them to make plastics and other, I want to say about a third of the demand for oil comes from plastics. And so fine, if we stop using oil as gasoline and diesel, maybe all that infrastructure, we don't just throw it away. We start using it, putting towards for plastics.
So you're saying the same thing could happen for the U.S. dollar? Yeah,
exactly. Maybe we find some other use for all that infrastructure, and it still has some value somehow.
Yeah, it's very interesting to see the Trump administration, embrace stable coins, and it seems like they're just kind of admitting our debt's too big, so we're going to spread it through the rest of the world to help offset. And and if there is a demise of the U.S. dollar, let's make it happen over a longer period of time that we can. Yeah. And drain it slowly as opposed to some sort of big collapse. That's the impression I get when I hear about Tether and Circle buying up these treasuries. That's
what I mean about the periphery collapsing first. It's like the US would be all right, let's force these other 180 countries. Let's get their currencies to collapse first before ours. Let's just keep kicking the can down the road, right?
Right. And I remember Saylor saying that years ago. That's exactly what would happen. Yeah. Before there was even ETFs or a Bitcoin strategic reserve in the US or stablecoins gobbling up treasuries. I remember him saying that those everyone talks about the US dollar. It's collapsing, and he's like, even if it is, it's going to be the last one to collapse. All the other ones would collapse first, right? Yeah. And so it's interesting.
Well, there's two different collapses going on at the same time. So if there's a collapse in fiat terms and a collapse in real terms, like real assets. So if we have all these other countries in the world, all their fiat currencies are collapsing into the dollar, then the dollar gets stronger, right? Like the DXY is a basket of several other currencies. So when the DXY goes up, those currencies are going down in value. Now, the DXY can go up, but the dollar can still go down in value relative to gold and Bitcoin. So if the Bitcoin price is going up and gold is going up in dollar terms, that means the value of the dollar is going down. So, are you following me?
Yes, I am.
I think a lot of people.
And this is the illusion that we're not seeing. We think that the U.S. dollar is stable or even going up, but when you measure it against the hard assets, it's going down.
Exactly. So there's I think some people have struggle with that, but you gotta see those two things happening at the same time, because it's kind of like a moving target. You're riding a horse trying to shoot a moving target. A few things are moving at the same time. So the dollar can get strong versus other currencies, while at the same time it gets weak versus Bitcoin and gold. And
that's kind of like the fundamental reality there.
I think we're gonna. Well, I think we're, especially over these next few years, I think we're gonna see more of that, see it play out.
Yeah. And it's just people waking up to that, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that illusion is also what makes stablecoins so strong. Or maybe it's the network effects as well. It's that people want that US dollar. They think that it's strong because they're not really comparing it against hard assets.
Totally. Yeah.
You know?
I agree. Yeah.
So it kind of props up the stablecoin industry a little bit. This illusion that the dollar is strong, or at least stable.
Totally.
You know?
Well, because it's the people who need it the most now, like in the global south, and who have currencies are inflating away. Unfortunately, they don't have much for savings. Right? They kind of live month to month, right? So they view the world through the buying food, paying rent, paying for their power bill, and they see those are the costs. That's what they see going up, right? They're not necessarily investing in hard assets, right? So they're not paying attention to it, and so when they see their day-to-day costs going up in their local currency, but going down versus the US dollar,
right.
Oh, the US dollar is safe. This is great. This is what I want to save and hold, because
and it does help them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Totally does. And hopefully the more people do that and they're able to save in the dollar, then once they start having more dollars, and they're like, wow, I've actually saved, 10 grand. And I'm like, well, maybe I should go invest my 10 grand. Now what do I do? And this is my story. Like when I actually got a real job, started making real money, I'm like, okay, I actually have some money in my bank account. Like I need to be a grown up now, start investing. What do I do? So then I started learning. So I think it's the same thing for people in those situations, right? Then now that they have some actual savings, then they'll start buying Bitcoin and whatnot. Yeah.
It's a fascinating time with all of this, man. Like this is just happening, and a lot of people don't realize. I think most of the world still doesn't realize.
Yeah.
So you think then that THORchain is it's very underappreciated at the moment. There's a lot of room for growth, especially if the world does, only use crypto, only use stablecoins. And these other assets. Like THORchain is just sort of there waiting to help be that decentralized exchange for whenever they want to swap. Why do people want to swap?
They speculate on, everyone's they speculate on prices, right? They're trading, so maybe they're trading, they do some high frequency trading, or they're just like average, like once in a while trading. Like okay, they made some money in Bitcoin. Now they want to roll it into Ethereum. Or they want to buy some new token they heard about, or whatever. Whatever their investment. No different than why do people buy and sell stocks, right? Same thing. Yeah.
Can you buy Rune on Ethereum?
No. No, Rune just exists on THORchain. Yeah. It's a
Interesting.
THORchain-based token.
So in order to buy Rune, you need a wallet that has THORchain incorporated into it?
That's right. Yeah, a wallet has to support THORchain. This is another thing. So a lot of these wallets that exist, that everyone's used to using, are only good for one blockchain, or two or three. Because like it's only within the last year or two that we're starting to see more multi-chain wallets, like wallets that can have multiple blockchains. And it's getting more and more common. And this is a bit of another, I would say, impediment for THORchain, is that people are just so used to having their one wallet that can work on one blockchain. Like MetaMask for the longest time only worked on Ethereum. Now you can support Solana and some other ones, but
if they had THORchain, that's all you need.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
You can work with any blockchain.
Yeah, so it's kind of THORchain in a lot of ways almost ahead of its time. Like we've created the technology. Now we have to get everything else to that can actually utilize it properly. So you need a wallet that can handle all of these different all these different blockchains. And and the wallet needs to be able to support THORchain as well.
So a large part of the marketing efforts of THORchain needs to be directed towards wallets then, even more so than individuals.
Great question. So so I'm very active. Since we've last talked, I've become much more active in the governance of THORchain.
Okay.
Especially in the last 6 months.
Okay.
I've really gotten in there like a dirty sock.
Because you run a node, right?
Yeah. So I have a fund that invests in Rune and runs nodes on THORchain. And so I'm a node operator and bond provider. And I'm trying to protect my investment. And the other thing, when I originally set up my fund, part of the method to my madness of just focusing on THORchain was that I could dedicate more time to it instead of spreading my time over all these different projects.
Sure.
And the reason for that was, or one of the reasons was, to get more involved in the governance, because in a decentralized network, you do need active participants. There isn't, like, you need self-actualized people to come in and participate. Otherwise, it goes nowhere, because there's no central party or authority organizing things, right? I mean, there is a core group of people on THORchain that have a lot of influence and are directing things. But at the end of the day, this really only works if we have more people getting involved and getting active, and that's what enhances and furthers the decentralization. So I'm doing my part, and what I've done is, over these last few months, is I've convinced the community to create a THORchain dedicated front end interface for people to come use, and to start a marketing budget, to start advertising and promoting to users to get people to use this front end. So,
and what's the point of this front end? And by the way, how did you become more involved with the governance of THORchain? What does that look like?
Just being annoying. just getting in there, just like talking and getting in Discord and on Spaces and just politics, really. Just being vocal. Right. And I'm not saying how do I say this? So, I have a strong personality, so I can get in there. But also, the community resonates with me. They didn't have to. They could shut me down, turn me off, ignore me, right? I just, they agreed with me, and I kept going, and so here I am.
And this front end thing, what does that look like?
So,
is it like your own wallet? What does that mean?
Yeah, good question. So before you asked about marketing to the wallets, and that has been THORchain's business model the last 4 years, B2B, business to business, to get these wallets like Trust and Ledger and Token Pocket and OKX wallet, and all these other wallets to integrate THORchain. And that's been working. That's been going great. And then we would sit back and let those wallets now tell the story to their users. Hey, you can trade inside your wallet, do this kind of stuff. Well, they're not doing that, or at least not a very good job.
Right.
Like we were talking about Trust Wallet earlier, like 1% in total of their users have ever traded, right?
That's crazy.
Yeah. And
so it seems like Trust hasn't even tried then.
I don't think so.
Right.
I mean, it's easy to point fingers at somebody, criticize people, right? But I've not seen it. And so, I don't. Maybe they are trying, and it's just they're banging their heads against the wall and they can't figure it out.
Right.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt,
sure,
because they do have every incentive in the world to figure it out, because they charge a fee. They make money on these trades. They're not. This isn't like doing it out of the goodness of their heart.
Right.
And that's how that's their main way of making money, is people placing those trades. So anyway, so what I've found is that for us to promote THORchain, it's really hard to tell people to go use Trust Wallet or go use a Ledger and this and that. And when we say, like, if I'm telling somebody to use THORchain, go to thorchain.org, place the trade there, and connect your wallet to our site and go trade there. So we're not creating our own wallet. So we would use on basically people's existing wallets. You come connect to our site and you place a trade. So just like Uniswap. When you go to Uniswap, you connect your wallet to their site and you place the trade. And the big thing with the THORchain front end is that it's not going to have any fees on top of it. So like Trust Wallet charges 70 basis points. Ledger could charge up to 150 basis points. THORchain's interface will have 0. And so it's just the base fees that go to THORchain.
And so what's the point of this front end? Just to raise a little more awareness?
Raise a lot of awareness. So when we can go put money and effort into marketing THORchain, we can send people to our site. Instead of sending people to Ledger or Trust Wallet or somewhere else. We can send them to our site. We can track it all. We can actually monitor the success of our marketing and have a real call to action. And I've been wondering too, if maybe the reason Trust Wallet just isn't getting a lot of users is because it's too expensive. I mean, nobody wants to pay 0.7% to do the trade. Come to THORchain, you do it for free. Or avoid that 0.7%. So, sorry, you ask something?
No, just checking the time.
So the point of the front end is to have something for us to promote and sell. And people within the THORchain community have somewhere to send people to. And where we can kind of control the user experience. And this is, so why didn't we do this like 4 years ago?
Right.
Well, this is, back then we were trying to stay decentralized. And 4 years ago, it was a completely different regulatory environment, which was hostile towards crypto.
Right.
And one of the things they were talking about doing was going after the wallets and front ends. And if you remember Sam Bankman-Fried, before FTX blew up, he was running around Congress, had like this proposal to implement some regulations in crypto. And it was all directed towards the front ends and wallets and these interfaces, and to make it basically to cut them off at the kneecaps, like just paralyze them, make it very difficult to operate. And then there's also talk about like the broker rule inside the United States, which means these wallets and websites would have to act like interactive brokers and like issue like 1099s and like tax reporting and stuff. Like it's just really onerous things. And so the THORchain devs at the time decided, okay, well, we don't want our own front end. We'll let other people deal with that stuff. We're just going to focus on the base layer. This will help protect us, stay decentralized, stay safe, let other people take those risks. Well, now with regulations in the US, especially doing like a 180, like all that stuff is gone. That's all off the table. It's all being canceled. It's all being wiped. It's not happening anymore. So, we can create our own front end and not, I don't think we necessarily worry about, having any kind of archaic rules being thrown at us. And I've had some people say, well, okay, things are good now. What about 5 years from now? It could all change and go back to the way it was, right? Sure, that could happen. And if something happens and they come to our site and you got to do this or do that, well, we can evaluate it then. Maybe we implement it, or maybe we don't. We shut it down. If we don't do it and we shut it down, we've at least converted a lot of people to THORchain. They know it exists. They know how to use it. And they can. It'll still be used somewhere else. Right? I'd be really surprised if it gets to that point where we actually have to shut down the site.
I would be too.
I think we're pretty far beyond that.
Me too. I think even if the opposite administration comes in next time in the US, I don't think they're going to reverse things.
Yeah, and maybe they do come out with a bit more. You got to do now. Okay, you know what, guys, you got to do these few things. I'm inclined to believe it'll probably be small enough or not as bad enough that we'll just do it.
Yeah,
because we can implement some controls on the website, on the interface. That's fine, as long as the base layer stays free and open. That's what matters. So, like for example, on the THORchain front end we're building, it's going to have a blacklist. I'm against censorship. We don't want to do it, but just to appease the authorities and to keep a target off ourselves, because we want the the website to go. We want people to use it, and we're going to get there's going to be way more honest people using it than dishonest, right? So having this blacklist isn't going to be a big impediment and whatnot, and it's just on the front end on the interface. It's not going to be on the base layer.
Interesting. So if in the future the global south, who now have access to stable coins and they have it in their wallets, they can save in US dollar stable coins rather than their shitty currency. THORchain's looking pretty good at that point, right? Because because like you're saying, the next step then is to save into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
So if I'm in the global south and I got 10,000 stable coins, hey, you know what? Let's put 1,000 of this away. I'm using THORchain to swap that into Bitcoin, right?
Hopefully, yeah. I mean, we are starting to see some more competition come, some more DEXs. Right. But THORchain has a huge head start in network effects. So I'm inclined to think, we may not get all of the trades. We're definitely going to get a good chunk. But yeah, that's the point. That's the goal. And take it a step further, there's an app being built on top of THORchain right now. It's called MOCA. And their whole gimmick is to go to businesses and to get them to like a restaurant or whatever and have this app so people can come pay in crypto. But like, let's say I have Bitcoin, but the merchant doesn't want Bitcoin. They want to accept a stable coin. Well, they go through this app. I send in my Bitcoin, and it automatically gets converted to stablecoin on their end. And because of THORchain and DEX aggregation, this is going to become possible with like thousands of different cryptocurrencies. So you'll be able to have your, Badir meme coin one day, and you can go to the store and I want to go buy something in my Badir meme coin, and the merchant, the restaurants be like, sorry, Badir, I don't care about your meme coin. I want a stable coin, or I want Bitcoin.
All right.
You can go through the app, and the app will convert your meme coin into the Bitcoin or stable coin that the merchant wants. Right. And so, because right now, again, with merchants, they just accept, like with Bitcoin, it's just a Bitcoin wallet. Bitcoin to Bitcoin, right? Stablecoin to stablecoin, right? This THORchain enables people to settle in whatever crypto they want. So
like whatever they're faced with when they're at the store, like maybe, we only have an Ethereum wallet or whatever it is, right? They can, on the fly, even if I don't have Ethereum, I got Bitcoin, obviously, so I can, swap it for Ethereum and make this purchase.
You don't even have to do the swap. You would send let's say you just had your Bitcoin wallet, and the store is like, but I only want stable coins. You would send your Bitcoin to his app, and the app would convert it to stable coins for him. So he automatically, the merchant's like, I don't care what crypto you have.
My wallet's
going to take care of it. It'll do the work. I'm going to settle in stable coin. Maybe I'm going to settle in a euro stable coin, or a renminbi stable coin, or whatever, right? Or
are there euro stable coins?
I don't know. There must be, but there's, I think 99.9% of stable coins are all dollars.
Right.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really wants to settle in a foreign currency. So, but I'm just saying it's the possibilities.
Right. Lots of possibilities with THORchain. Yeah. How many nodes are there in THORchain?
115 right now. Okay. Yeah.
I think when I saw the video, it was a lot less than that you did. That was 2.5 years ago, maybe.
Yeah, it's probably more like 80.
Yeah.
And man, lots changed in that video. Full disclosure, so I run a few nodes.
Okay.
Right? So just because there's 115 nodes doesn't mean there's 115 unique people.
Okay.
Right? So to be some intellectual honesty there.
Okay.
I'd say, back in Napkin, I'd probably say there's at least 40 unique node operators. There's definitely a handful that run multiple nodes. But
it's still pretty small, right?
It is pretty small, but it's small relative. You're used to Bitcoin.
Yeah, sure.
And Ethereum. Once you get a Bitcoin and Ethereum, it's actually, I would argue, THORchain is one of the most, if not the most decentralized crypto. So all these other, even like you can make the case of Bitcoin and Ethereum with all these mining pools. right? Look at Bitcoin. There's 2 mining pools that have up to half the hash rate. So if they got together to collude, there's some trouble there, right? So same with Ethereum. There's like, I think I want to say, forgive me, I want to say 90% of the Ethereum mining hash rate is within like 10 pools. And maybe like 3 or 4 of them, if they got together, they would have half. So it depends how you measure a decentralization. So
like nodes is one thing.
It's how many
mempools is another thing. Miners is another thing.
How many of those does one person or one entity manage of those things?
That too.
Right?
Right.
So like, then you start going into the other cryptos, and they start getting centralized very quick. Whereas with THORchain, I'm like, no, I would say we're definitely past that hurdle. Obviously we want more, but I think we are definitely over the line now. And the Bybit hack going to THORchain, I think, is just a really good example, because if we were centralized in any way, shape, or form, they would be able to shut it down.
Right.
They'd be able to stop us.
Right. So it was a good test for THORchain.
Yeah. It's not the test we want, but we take some silver lining out of it.
Right.
That's what it is. Yeah. Yeah.
So when you mentioned earlier that there was, did I hear about the hack or whatever? I didn't realize you were talking about the Lazarus Bybit one, because I remember that one. But I remember earlier in the year at one of the Bitcoin meetings, everyone was questioning you about THORchain because something had happened. This was a few months ago.
Earlier this year.
Yes.
Yeah,
what was that?
Dude, it was the default, the ThorFi default.
What does that mean?
Oh boy. We have another hour on this thing. So man, it's frustrating. I get so mad talking about it.
Really?
No, I mean it. Like it's.
What the hell happened?
So, okay. So in that initial video, that 2.5 hour video you watched, so a lot has changed on THORchain since then. A lot of new features and changes to how THORchain works, and one of them was this ThorFi feature. Yeah, like Thor Financial, and it was a savings product and a lending product.
Yeah, I remember you talking a little bit about that. Okay.
Yeah.
And I remember Eric and some of the other podcasts talking about that.
Yeah, and the way they ended up being designed and came out was just a really poor design. And there was tons of debate about these features while they were being designed and implemented. And like within the community, within the nodes, within the developers.
Right.
And it still got approved. It still went through. And so what these features did was introduced like convexity to THORchain.
What does that mean?
Basically, to just kind of summarize it, THORchain ended up being short Bitcoin, which is a really bad place to be in. And it's like who wants to be short the best asset in the world, right? And and I'm trying to summarize things here, but that was the position THORchain ended up in.
Okay.
And I knew this, I understood this, but I thought, okay, well, it's small enough. When these features came out, the naysayers were able to cap them right away, and then find a way. And we're on a path to unwinding them. We tried them for several months. The people who are against them eventually started winning. Okay, this isn't working. It's not a good idea. We need to get rid of them. And so there's a path to unwind it and to stop it. And so even though I didn't like these features, I was against them the whole time. I thought, okay, well, they're small enough. I don't think this short position on Bitcoin, it's not big enough. It's like just some annoying credit card debt. We can deal with it. We'll get away from it. It's fine. And so we were on that path to get rid of them. And then in January this year, JP Thor, he paused these features and said, okay, we need to talk about defaulting on them.
Okay.
And come up with a plan.
Okay.
Because they're not good. They're holding us back.
Okay.
And they're a liability, blah, blah, blah. Everyone freaked out. Like, what are you doing? You can't freeze people's money like that. And so the nodes reversed him. And then that started a bank run. And so then the bank run got out of hand, and there's a bit more to it, but like, well, I'll explain it. So we had a lot of people withdraw out of the lending and the savers, and the room price went from like $4 down to $3, and then it stabilized. And everyone's like, JP, what are you doing? You should have done that, blah, blah, blah. And then like 2 weeks went by, and then there's another huge withdrawal from the lending part. But it didn't really affect the room price. Room price is pretty flat. And then JP comes out saying, if there's any more, if the room price goes down anymore, if there's any more withdrawals, I'm going to freeze things again. And that just caused a further panic of people withdrawing. And at that point, the nodes decided, okay, we need to totally freeze everything, lock it down, and default, because these shenanigans are causing a bank run. So up until that point, when he initially froze withdrawals, there was no bank run. There was nothing happening. It was the threat of freezing that caused the bank run. And that's why I get so frustrated about it, because this feature was annoying, but we got rid of it, and it did need to go. But it was like, this is hands down the absolute worst way possible to deal with it. And so what ended up happening is people had about $200 million value locked up, frozen. And so and basically the reason the nodes, and I agreed at the time, okay, this is probably what we need to do, because it was causing a real bank run where if everybody leaves at once, then it's over. It doesn't matter the value, right? It's like any business. If everybody leaves all at the same time, it's over. And so it was a hard choice by the nodes to make, but it was really in reaction to some poor choices beforehand. And it was to try and protect not just the existing rune holders and stakeholders, but those people in the lending and savers. Because if things really did get out of hand, nobody would have anything. I mean, like there'd be nothing left over. So the decision by the nodes was made to freeze that 200 million, lock it in, and in return give people a new token backed by so for every $1 you had locked in, you get $1 of this. You get one token. So if this token trades at $1, you're made whole. And this new token gets 10% of all the yield on THORchain into perpetuity. So it's like a preferred stock, kind of. So right now, the token's trading at like 20 cents. And so as THORchain goes up in volume and revenue goes up, so will the value of this token. So
this is not ruined, though.
No, this is called TCY.
Okay.
So this is a way for people to get paid back.
Okay.
So it's not a complete default loss.
All right.
And it's just like really unfortunate, but at least I do feel pretty good that people will be able to get paid back. But it might take a year at this point. And so let's say it takes a year. That means people are stuck for a year and a half, and there's some people who need the money now and they can't access it, right? So that is a shame. But anyway, so it's not, for me, it's actually part of the reason why I got more active in these last 6 months, because I feel like maybe if I was more active last year, maybe I could have stopped this or at least made it much smaller. Because I was against it. I was vocal. I did, but maybe if I would have done more, I could have done. So I'm trying to do what I can to make things right by people. But some of you might be asking, thinking, well, how could this one guy freeze the withdrawals?
Yes, definitely. That's what people are thinking.
Okay.
What was JP Thor up to? What was he thinking?
It's decentralized, Kenton. What is one guy doing? How did this happen?
Right.
So, and this is one of the criticisms of THORchain, why people would argue it's centralized.
Right.
So
and I think people do have that same commentary on Ethereum as well, which I want to talk to you about.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, so I can explain it. So even Bitcoin, when it started, it was centralized. It was Satoshi and Hal Finney. There's two guys, right? So, it's like an embryo. You start in the womb, right? Before you become a being.
Sure.
So everything starts centralized. And when THORchain started, you had the core devs, and they had keys, control to the network to do certain things, and it wasn't to take any funds or anything like that. It was to change settings and freeze and halt THORchain for certain parts of it.
Okay.
And the reasoning for that was if there's a hack, if funds are getting stolen, and the devs see it, they can they can freeze it and lock it in and prevent the hack from continuing. And the individual nodes on THORchain, we have this power too. We can halt all of THORchain or certain parts of THORchain for up to an hour. Other nodes can come in. Sorry, I just spit on Badir.
You missed me.
Other nodes can come in and agree to halt and continue the halt for longer. And the idea is to protect the network from a theft.
Sure.
And so a handful of people, a few people had this ability since the beginning. And as more nodes came to THORchain, the plan was to get rid of this ability, these keys, and just rely on the nodes.
Sure.
And
that didn't happen?
Well, so it had got to the point where there's talk about, okay, we need to get rid of these keys. We need to burn them. People can't have this. We need to, like housekeeping, right? We need to get rid of them. And there's just so much other things on the go. It just kept getting pushed off. And it got to the point where a lot of people just kind of forgot that they existed, that the ability was there. And a lot of people thought it was already done. And so when JP froze the ThorFi, the lending and savers, I don't think any of us ever thought it would be used so flagrantly like that, because that's quite literally the worst thing. Like, you have a bank and you freeze people's withdrawals, you immediately lose all trust.
Yeah, immediately.
Nobody wants to touch that bank again.
Yeah, and you want your money out of there.
Yeah, and like, this is a guy who has literally hundreds of millions of dollars worth of ruin. Like, why would he do that to himself?
Why did he do that?
Well, so I think there's just, he just simply screwed up. I think he had some personal issues at the time. He was going through a divorce, and so maybe just error in judgment. I think he came around to, we need to get rid of this feature. He acknowledged that.
Right.
And I think I honestly, I can't say for sure, but my impression is I don't think he thought it'd be as much backlash as it was. I think he thought it would just be, this is just part of governance. Right.
I'm trying to help. This isn't a good situation that we're in.
And when I say freezing to talk about default, it wasn't like to steal from people. It was like, okay, we need we don't want to have people all withdrawing at once or over these certain time periods. Or maybe we tell people they can't withdraw for another year, or have some certain stipulations. We need to stretch out our payment plan basically. And so it wasn't an outright, I want to steal from people. That wasn't it. But does it matter? That's how people receive it. Right? You're freezing my money. I want it now. So anyway, I don't think, none of us thought it would, the whole point of that ability to freeze THORchain was to protect itself from a theft, from a hack. And so anyway, out of that came, okay, we have to get rid of those keys, that ability. So now nobody has it.
Okay.
It's all up to the nodes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
The nodes can still do exactly what JP Thor did.
To a limited degree?
To the same degree. Can still pause things.
You said for an hour.
An hour, and then 3 nodes can do it indefinitely.
Okay. So
that's why kind of trying to understand how things work, that the optics of one guy doing it looks really bad, but technically 3 nodes can do the exact same thing. And the reason that's there is to protect the network. And so for example, 3 nodes overwrote JP and moved things going again, a few hours later.
Right, that's what you said.
Yeah, and so if 4 nodes wanted to, they could come back and reinstate the ban, reinstate the freeze, then 5 nodes, then 6, and you have this thing going on. But there has to be a way for nodes to freeze and pause things on the network to protect ourselves from a hack, because that is necessary to have that. But it's so it's really a shame the way it went down. Not ideal. The silver lining to it is that we did get rid of those features. That it's a good thing. It's like failing when you're young. It's good to make mistakes when you're young instead of when you're older. You can grow and learn from them.
Sure. So
it's good we made this. THORchain made this mistake now versus a few years from now when it's like really big and huge and everyone's using it.
Right.
But it's been a painful. It definitely left its mark, and it's gonna take some time to heal from that. But I feel pretty good. The people that were affected they're getting this TCY token that they'll get paid back.
Okay.
We'll be able to redeem ourselves and learn some things the hard way. So yeah.
What's the THORchain price nowadays?
$1.35. It's down. Yeah, volume.
I think the highest was $3 or $4. Is that what I did? A quick look, I think.
Its all-time high was like 21.
Oh yeah, okay.
In 2021.
Okay.
Last year it ran up to 11.50.
Okay.
A big run up there, and then but it generally hangs around $3 or $4. So we're definitely in the bottom end of its trading range. I've actually been disappointed with the price action here the last few months. It's not been keeping up with the crypto market, and the volume is down. So volume is what drives revenue, drives fees, and that's buy pressure on Rune. It gets the Rune price up. I don't have a good explanation why volume is down. When I look at all the other exchanges, I see some volume going up, but not enough to account for THORchains going down. I see a lot of exchanges going sideways. So I think a lot of decentralized exchanges. So I think a lot of this, like Bitcoin price and Ethereum price going up, is just happening on the centralized exchanges. We're not seeing much activity on the DEXs. Even in like all the altcoins, we're not seeing a lot of activity. There's some individual ones, but for the most part, it's Ethereum and Bitcoin that are getting the headlines now. And
so what does that tell you?
Well, I think the market, it's fresh money coming in to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I think it's going to take time for that to trickle into the other tokens. And then THORchain in particular, actually today, there's a new update coming out, 3.11, which has should be a game changer for THORchain. A lot of new features coming out that should really help volume go up. So I'm pretty hopeful here the next few months we're going to see a nice big like order of magnitude shift in volume. We saw it happen 2 years ago with a similar update and change. It was a bit of a game changer for THORchain. And that Rune went from like $1 to $6 because the volume exploded higher. So I'm expecting these changes to do something similar.
So is the only way for me to buy Thor or Rune is to use a wallet that has THORchain?
You can Binance. You can buy Rune on Binance.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Kraken, you can buy Rune there.
Oh, okay. I thought I asked you that and you said no for some reason.
Sorry, I might have misunderstood your question.
Okay.
Otherwise...
But you can buy Rune on CEXs.
Yeah. Those CEXs, yeah.
I see. Okay.
Or obviously the best place to do is on THORchain. You're going to get it's cheaper for you.
And you just use like Trust Wallet or whatever wallet that has.
To be honest, I can't remember if Trust Wallet supports the Rune token. So it's weird. Trust Wallet supports THORchain, the exchange, but I don't know that they actually support the Rune token yet.
I understand, yeah.
I can't remember. My phone's over there. But you'd be able to go in Trust and just find it.
Yeah.
Ledger does. Control Wallet does. You can have a Keystore wallet. To be honest, I can't. I feel bad. I'm so used to using the handful of wallets I use. I don't know all the wallets that support Rune. It's a separate issue. A wallet integrating THORchain, the exchange, is one thing. They don't have to support Rune, the token.
To do that.
Yeah. So, which is good from the user's point of view, that you don't need the Rune token.
They just want to swap. They don't need the Rune token.
Yeah, exactly. And but it's bad from THORchain's point of view, like trying to promote our token to get people to buy it.
Right.
We want more tokens to support it, and this will be part of this marketing fund, the marketing team I'm putting together, and marketing push. I'm directing. I'm running this to get stuff like that done. To have more wallets, because basically they want to be paid. It's all. Everyone wants to be have their pockets lined.
Yeah.
Right. So like, and I kind of get it. Like the top 10 tokens a wallet is going to do for free. They're going to support those. But the smaller tokens, they're like, well, it's our developer time and this and that, and it takes so long to do, and so much to cost, right? So you got to pay them like 20, 50, 100 grand or something like that to get them to do it, right? And so I hope to find the money, the budget to start doing stuff like that and start getting the Rune token supported in more wallets.
Okay, so before we end off, wow, we've been going for a while, even though the camera wasn't on the whole time. I want to talk, because I heard you say once at a meeting, one of our Bitcoin meetings, you said, basically anyone who thinks that Ethereum is a security is wrong. Now,
Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay,
is that right? Was that statement right, that you said that? Or is that your perspective?
I think you're misremembering me.
Okay.
So Ethereum may very well be considered a security from a legal point of view.
Okay.
But anyone who's crying about Ethereum being a security and therefore should be shut down or this and that, I think is wrong. Okay,
that's a different thing though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because just because you're security doesn't mean you're bad. Coinbase is a security.
Well, so
Binance.
Totally, exactly.
Right. So
well, this is the thing, my beef against Bitcoin maxis. Because
this is what I want to get at. Your beef. What's the issue here?
Because a Bitcoin maxi whines and complains, Ethereum is a security. It's a security.
Right.
Dude, we're building freedom money, a freedom financial system.
Right.
That we should be able to trade and exchange whatever we want and not follow securities laws. The securities laws are just they're a capital control.
Okay.
It's censorship.
Okay.
So they're basically when a maxi says that, they're celebrating TradFi and encouraging TradFi to go use their guns to go censor people. And it goes against everything the cypherpunk ideals about Bitcoin.
Okay.
And I just find it's cope because I just want people to buy my Bitcoin and drive up my Bitcoin price.
Right.
And don't buy Ethereum because it's bad. It's like, it's a free market.
Right.
Who cares if you don't, I'm not saying you have to like Ethereum.
Right.
Hate it.
Right.
Don't touch it. Don't buy it. I don't care.
Right.
But doesn't mean you need Big Brother to go shut it down for you.
Right. That's a different thing.
It's a completely different thing.
Yeah.
And so that's my beef. That's my problem.
Is that maxis give the impression that they would rather Ethereum not even exist?
Yes, exactly.
Right.
And it's like, well, hold on a second. That's going totally against the values and fundamentals of freedom and freedom of expression, freedom of speech, freedom of exchange.
Sure.
Right. And so when I say I have a foot in the maxi camp, Bitcoin maxi camp, is because I do get it. I do think Bitcoin is truly decentralized, cannot be stopped, fantastic technology. I do think it is gold to digital gold, new store of value. I love all that stuff. I agree with Saylor. I think the price is going up. And I think if Bitcoin were to have smart contracts on top of it, like Ethereum, I think it would be Bitcoin. We wouldn't need anything else. We could just use Bitcoin.
Sure.
But I'm living in the practical world. What really exists? Bitcoin does not have smart contracts. It's really Lightning is really lagging. The ability to use it as payments is really struggling. And we do have all these other cryptos solving all these different problems and serving all these different purposes. I think from a practical point of view, we are in a multi-chain world. And so yeah. So that's what I mean. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be able to be all and want to be able to do everything by itself. I think we are going to be using these other protocols. It's so different than people driving on the left side of the road versus the right side of the road. You can probably make the argument which one is better, right? But it's just not going to change. You know, we're not going to. All these countries aren't going to suddenly swap and change everything to one side, even though it'd be better from a worldwide point of view, right? Same with all of us, the languages we speak. So much easier if all 8 billion people spoke the same language, right? It'd be so much easier if everyone just used Bitcoin. Yeah. But I think reality is it's not going to happen, right? And there's other network effects that are going, like Ethereum's got really strong network effects. I don't think it's going away anytime soon. So I think, again, you can believe, well, I only want to buy Bitcoin. I only want to own it, and I think it's the best asset. Great. But as soon as you start criticizing all the other ones, saying it shouldn't exist because it's a security and they should be shut down, well, hold on a second here. You're really going against the ideals of what freedom is. The freedom to spend your money, freedom to communicate value is all about. You know, it's about spending your money, your wealth on things that you see important, not what others want you to do.
So are we going to reach, because you said technically Ethereum could be a security according to securities law. Do you think that we're going to get clarity over the next 3 years on?
I do, and I think it'll be deemed not a security. Okay. Yeah, I think.
So you don't think Ethereum, in the classic sense of the word, is a security?
I mean, God, dude, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
So like, his name John Deaton, Deaton. He's a lawyer and he's gone through it pretty well. And I'm pretty sure he says no, it's not a security. If you go like letter by letter in the actual securities law, at the end of the day, what these guys do, the regulators it's arbitrary, right? They make up. This is the problem that we're in, the world we live in, right? All these laws exist, but then they have the outcome in mind they already want to achieve, and they will interpret the laws any way possible to get that outcome, right? So, why? So this is where I'm going with this. Where I'm saying I think Ethereum won't be deemed a security, right? Because I think the powers that be are starting to just accept we can't stop this, right? Let's just make it so that it isn't a security, right? And they'll just create some new laws or regs or whatever to then try and define it and show how Ethereum is not a security.
Does Ethereum lose its fundamental value if it's deemed a security by the SEC?
Yeah, good question. I think what it would affect its ability to trade it, like buy and sell it, right? Because then it would only anyone who's any exchange offering people to buy and sell Ethereum would have to be registered as a securities broker, right? This is what Coinbase wants to avoid, right? Is a whole new, all the red tape, right? All the regulations they have to adhere to, right? They don't want to do it. It's just, and so it would affect its price, but I don't think it would affect its technology. And I think this is what the U.S. government's finally come around to recognize, is that they can try and stop it. It doesn't, but it doesn't. It just goes offshore. Like you don't. Somebody writing code on Ethereum in Thailand doesn't give a damn about what the U.S. calls it. Right. All right, call it security. Call it a bubble gum. I don't care what you call it. Right. I'm going to still write my code. Right. Right. They can't stop people from writing code on it. Right. So the security moniker or label is just going to affect people's ability to trade it. All the trading would just go offshore. We just leave the U.S. and we just trade in other jurisdictions that don't care. Right. They don't have a label for it. Yeah. They don't follow U.S. securities laws. They have their own laws. And so, and this is the thing with DeFi, is that I think it'd be really helpful if people start viewing like Ethereum and Bitcoin and THORchain, these different layer ones, these different blockchains, as countries. They're their own countries with their own laws. Well,
I mean, if you listen to Saylor talk about Bitcoin, he does call it a digital city, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Like it is. So the U.S. can have these laws about securities. What does that have to do with Brazil? and their laws. Right. Nothing. They're sovereign nations. They don't talk to each other. Ethereum is a sovereign nation. Okay, fine. It's not, the US doesn't want to accept it.
But we can still interact with Brazil and
Exactly,
China or
exactly,
whoever.
exactly. So like you brought up Cuba earlier. The US has an embargo on Cuba. So Americans can't go there. They can't, no American company can
Set up shop.
do business, right? I'm Canadian. Canadians, I can go. I used to go. I used to work there. I worked for a Canadian oil company, but set up shop there and had a business there.
So
Canadian,
same kind of
Canadian
scenario.
tourism is huge in Cuba. But Canadians still go to the US. So I mean, just because the US has a problem with Cuba doesn't mean Canada does. And like a lot of Italians, Italy has a good relationship with Cuba and they do lots of trade and stuff. So like, but I'm not trying to justify the embargo.
I get
on
it.
Cuba.
No, I see the point.
But the US can embargo Ethereum, but that doesn't stop the rest of the world from using Ethereum.
Interacting with it however they want.
Yeah.
Huh. That's true.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff, bro. This has been a great conversation. Thank you very much. I'm scared the camera is going to go out on us again, so I kind of want to end it. But before we go, I want to see this gold coin you got.
Oh, yeah. That's right.
You wish you brought it last time.
Last time I can't remember what we talked about last time, but I don't know, can you see?
Why do they have holes in it?
So here. So I got
sick. It's like heavy.
You can feel it. So when you feel, have you ever held a gold coin before?
I don't know. Maybe I've held a silver coin. I don't think I've held a gold coin before.
This is what I used to carry with me, because when you actually hold an ounce of gold in your hand for the first time.
Is this an ounce?
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like, okay, this is legit. This feels like money.
It's true. It just has that weight, that gravity to it. How much is an ounce of gold in dollar terms?
$3,400 right now, something like that.
That's $3,400.
Well, I guess a bit less because of the holes, but
that's freaking crazy. That's $3,400.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think silver is what, 40, 42 right now. But I don't know. I don't know if the camera will be able to see it. But anyway, there's holes in these coins.
Why are there holes in these coins?
I got them assayed. So
what does that mean again?
Assayed is when you test the purity of a metal.
Right.
And so if you'll notice on that coin, on this one, you should be able to see 0.999 fine.
I see 9999 fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. It's somewhere on, it should be on the gold one here somewhere too. I think it's much smaller. I think it's right there. If you can see that. And so these coins are supposed to be 4 nines fine gold.
Okay.
And silver. That's the purity. And I'm like, well, how do you actually know that? Like, okay, you're telling me that, but how do I actually know?
Yeah.
So I took it to a lab, and they drilled out the holes, and they did a fire assay to test the metal.
Okay.
And forgive me, I actually forget. It actually came back slightly less.
Okay.
Like 9992, something like that. And if you can see, there's dimples. You see, there's a dimple here, a dimple there. You see those?
I see
a dimple. That was a different lab I went to.
Okay.
And I got a different test. And same thing. It came in just slightly below 4 nines. And I mean, it doesn't really, whether it's 3 nines or 4 nines, it's the same.
Sure.
Right? But the point is, I was just curious. But at the end of the day, when you're buying a gold coin, you're trusting the trademark. Like, these are Canadian maple leaves,
right? And
so you're trusting the Canadian mint,
right?
That this coin is
what it says.
Is pure metal, is what it says, and that's why the maple leaf, the Krugerrand, pretty well recognized around the world because they're highly trusted that the metal is real, and so it's generally why you want to buy. If you're going to have coins that you want to keep at home for like end of the world type stuff, or you think you're going to have to barter in the street, pay for your way to get out of the country, you want coins that are recognizable, that have a recognized trademark.
That's QE2 on there. Queen Elizabeth II, that's her face right there. So we know it's good, right?
And so you pay a premium. You're going to pay an extra few percent for these coins. For that reason,
right? For the stamp of the Canadian,
stamp, yeah. If you're buying metal to just store in a vault, and you think one day you're going to like, sell it for cash. Then you can go with the cheaper coins, cheaper bars, get more bullion for your buck because you're not worried about. You're just going to sell it back to the same dealer that you bought it from in the first place. So you can save a few, maybe 1 or 2% on that.
So how much is that silver one? How much is that worth? $5?
No, $45.
So that's $45, and that's $3,400.
Yeah.
So that's the difference between the value of silver and gold right there.
Yeah.
In a physical sort of format. Love it.
Yeah. Did you know this? If you take a silver coin, you saw another way you can know it's real. Did you hear that?
The sound that it makes?
Yeah. You hear a ting. Yeah.
What about this one?
There's a bit of one, but it's not the same.
Yeah, it's not
duller.
the same.
Yeah.
Hot.
I'll do the gold one a few more times. It's a bit duller. I think the mics are picking it up, right?
Huh. Yeah. I love that. Yeah. You could even hear it. You know, that's pretty cool to deduce the quality of these coins. Well, okay, man. Thanks so much. We'll wrap it up there. Really appreciate you coming back on, us talking about THORchain. Thanks for getting me into that. I feel like if I'm going to get any other crypto besides Bitcoin, I think THORchain might be the other one that I speculate on, or Rune, right? So, thanks again. I'll see you later tonight.
Yeah, you bet.
Awesome. And I appreciate it.
Yeah, cheers, buddy. Yeah.